Hello all and welcome to another episode of the Kontakt Script Programmer. Today we're going to look at 4.6, which is the UI menu, which is a little drop-down menu that you get to use in Kontakt. The example is pretty obvious, however there is quite a bit we can do later on, which I think is covered in about chapter 12 as well, so I might touch on a little bit of that here. On initialization we declare a UI menu called menu, and then we call this add menu item, which just appends the menu with first entry at entry 0, second entry, so add menu item menu, second entry at 1, and add another one, menu at the third entry, which is at the third spot, which is number 2 because it is 0 based. We'll pop that together really quickly. So on initialization, we declare a UI menu called menu, then we add menu item for the menu, first entry at 0, and they are that simple. Now you can add as many of these as you like, unless you've set some kind of bars on the amount of values, and we can resize the menu as we have seen before. Now, and on, if I pop this open, I've got first entry, second entry, third entry. Anything I pick will then change the value. It doesn't change until I click onto it. Okay, so hovering over this won't change anything. I'm just going to run message because I was stuffing around before. There we go. Okay, so the second half of this is on initialization, we declare a counting variable, we declare a menu, and we're going to run another while loop, which is going to run from count 1 up to count number 17, adding a menu item to the menu called entry number, and then count in the ith or the count variable position. And then we just increment our count. So all we're doing is adding entry number 1 at spot 1, which will be second entry, 1, and then incrementing the count. So count becomes 2. Then we're adding another menu, entry number 2, count 2 at the next spot. Okay, so handy way to initialize a bunch of different menus. So let's go through and put this together. We declare a counting variable, we declare a UI menu called menu, then we add up our count variable and we go while count variable is less than 17, or is less than whatever you want really. We add menu item to the menu called entry number whatever, and then we add in count, so that'll say entry number whatever for the count, and then we're adding that in at the count location. So increment the count and we end the while. Oops. And on. That's going to happen really quickly, and it's going to go all the way down to 16. If we change this to 170, it's going to go all the way down to 170. Okay, so we can change whatever we like there, and they're all going to be labeled accordingly. We could label them whatever we want, which is a cool way to look at these things. The extra stuff down here just has to do with either changing what particular areas are called, getting the value, so get the menu item value from a particular position. Okay, so if we were using something like a button or just calling on UI control that when we hit this, it's going to send that 12 number to another patch, we could use get menu item value or get menu item string to pull in from another piece of UI just to connect up the whole thing. We've used add menu item already. Get menu item and get menu item value are not too bad. So from there we can set menu item. That's just the flip side of it. Okay, so we need to keep using menu IDs. So let's put together a really quick one just to show you what I'm talking about. I'll just declare a button called button, and then I'll on UI control of the button we will have an if button equals 1. So when it's up, we will send a message that says get what are we trying to do? Get menu item string, maybe? Or get menu item value. So let's get menu item value for get UI ID of the menu. And then we want to get this spot that it is in, which is menu. That's if it's up, else message, and we'll just clear it. Let's see how we do, and if and on. Let's see if I got that right. What have we got? Pass error, a new eye control button. Oh, duh. What am I doing? Message, get menu item value. We might not need that right now. Right, so now once we've got menu item, we're getting the third slot. So whenever we push the button, it's going to call out what's in the third slot. So there we go, third, which happens to be 4. So maybe we could even do menu. Okay, so now whatever we change it to is going to give us that value, which is actually 1 up. So we might do menu take 1. There we go. So now if we change it to number 99 and we hit the button, we actually get 99. So that's a quick way to get some of your scripts talking to each other, so that we can pull different variables. And if we wanted to get anything out of that, so if we didn't want to get number 99, we could get string here instead. So when we hit the button, it says entry number, and it actually gives us the value of that instead, which again is a really handy way to start looking at your scripts and pulling different values from these value trees. So if we, where did I put it? Entry number. Right, so we could use any of these. We could even hide, so we can hide separate values. So say for instance, you swapped between, let's say, metric values and time values. You might want to set the metric values invisible if you've selected metric, and the time values invisible if you've selected, well, the flip side. So that way, when you've got something that's, say, tempo synced, you're not going to get people being able to select the other ones. So you just literally hide the menu, which is a great way to really control your patch and make sure that there's not just sort of streams of useless data that might break your system. So that's the UI menu. We're moving on to the UI slider, which we have used as well. So the UI slider will be the next video, 4.7, and I will see you then.